Let me start by, ready? Hi, alright, so, let me introduce myself in my native tongue. Tsleil-Waututh Tsleil-Waututh. My name is Cedar George-Parker from Tulalip tribes and Tsleil-Waututh Nation. And one thing about growing up there is that I love my family and I love my community. You know, that's one thing that's 100% true. I mean, I love my family and my community. I'm happy my sister's here and my little brother's out here. And that's really what motivates me the most to make a change in this world so that they could grow up in a beautiful world, you know, surrounded, you know, because right now it's beautiful, surrounded by cruelty right now. And all this cruelty, you know, and all this greed is really affecting our lives and how we live and how our future generations are going to live. No. So, one thing about Tsleil-Waututh is that right now we're standing up against pipelines that are destroying our inlet. And Vancouver is, I'm pretty sure, 144 miles away from here. And I'm also from Tulalip, which is about 30 miles away from here. So one thing that we're doing is that, you know, we've always been standing up for our laws, and our indigenous laws and our indigenous values make us who we are. And that's why we're going to win. You know, Pull Together is raising money for our lawyers to stand up against these big oil companies, you know, and it's such a beautiful thing that we're doing that, you know, because up in BC, British Columbia, it is unceded territory and unceded land. So which means there's no agreements or contracts or what do you call it? Treaties. There's no treaty signed there. And one thing that when big oil companies or companies want to, you know, tear down the land or want to do a project in British Columbia, they have to have First Nations consultation. So the oil companies, what do you think they did? No consultation. So there's no consultation. So that's why we're taking the BC government and Canadian government to court, so that we can stand up for our rights and stand up for who we are as a people and stand up for our future, to have a beautiful future where we can all live in together, that future generations can live on and thrive. So that's what we're doing. That's a long story short, and that's what Pull Together is. So the Peoples versus Kinder Morgan. Kinder Morgan is a pipeline and tanker project, poses unacceptable risk to our oceans and waterways, our climate, economies, and communities, and must never be built. First Nations have vowed to stop it in the courts. So people, businesses, communities, and groups are raising funds to support them. So definitely join us. So let's get started. Yeah, this is what we're doing, right? So it's the Tsleil-Waututh Nation, TWN, which is right across where they want to put the pipeline. So where they want to put this pipeline is right in Vancouver, right in the Burrard Inlet, right? So really what it is, what we're fighting is the Kinder Morgan Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion, which they're saying, you know, they want to put a pipeline from Alberta down through BC through the Vancouver Inlet, which Vancouver is only 144 miles away. And so this is where they want to put it, right across from our inlet, right in Vancouver, you know, right? You can see it right across from my res. And so yeah, so this is, yeah, so it's really bad. It's really, really bad because what they want to do is, yeah, all right, so this is where it comes from. So it comes from the Alberta tar sands. Now, Alberta tar sands is the biggest industrial project the world has ever seen. Who knows how big, I don't know, who could kind of estimate how big Texas or France is? When you see it on a map, it's pretty big, right? So to get this, the oil, they have to do fracking, and this is what it looks like where they get it from. And they want to move the size of, go back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they want to move the size of France or Texas to get all of this out. And this is the worst way to get oil. Oil is already bad to get in the first place. So go to the next one. So this is what some of it looks like, right? So this is how they get the oil up in Alberta, you know what I mean? And they're killing everything around it. It's ridiculous, the things that they go through, the energy that they have to do to kill all of this. And these are pretty big right here, right? Like I'm probably up to here on it. So next slide. Because I'm really tall, right? But in reality, you know, we could have a little dinner right inside here. And that's how much earth they're taking. Wow. That's how big they are. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. So all these people are driving these things and killing all this earth and raping the land. And in the process, it's hurting people, hurting the economy, and hurting everything around it and the wildlife. And so this is what it looked like, the Alberta tar sands. This is Fort McMurray. I've been here. It's actually quite a big city. So like, yeah, like it takes a long time to get from here to here to here. So this is in 1984. So there's 0.17 million barrels per day that come out of there. You can go to the next slide. And this is May 15, 2012. And it's getting bigger every year. But the difference of what happened from this and the last slide, go back to the last slide. Last slide. Oh. Before, yeah. Mm-hmm. So the difference between here and then is that oil prices have went up. And because this is like how they get the oil fracking is the most expensive way to get oil. So what happened between here and go to the next slide, is here is that the oil prices went up, so they deemed it acceptable to make money off of it through this way. And go back actually. And to get the oil from here, it takes, just to get 1 barrel, it takes 2 barrels of water and 2 tons of earth or sand to get 1 barrel of oil. So just in the process, it takes 2 barrels of water, clean water that we could give, I don't know, to anybody in the world who are going through thirst and hunger. You know what I mean? And the crazy thing was that is that there's 21,000 people that die every day from world hunger or what is it called when you're thirsty? Dehydration. Dehydration. So just within this moment, I don't know how many seconds I was talking for. Every 4 seconds, someone dies from that. When we could be giving water from this to people around the world. And that's just ridiculous. That's crazy that is happening. You know what I mean? And yeah, you can go to the next slide. And in the process of this happening, it affects the people around it. So in 2008, Alberta, which is like the state where it is, it's like a state province. In 2008, Alberta Health confirmed a 30% rise of cancer rates between 1995 to 2006 in Fort Chippewa, a community 200 kilometers downstream from Fort McMurray. So yeah, that's ridiculous. It's really crazy to stay here. Go back. And then the thing about this is that like the local doctors and the people around the area say it's much higher than that. And so when I was about 17, I went on a trip to the Alberta tar sands. And how I got into this, I always tell about this lady's story. How I got into this is we're doing interviews with a woman from Fort McMurray where it all is. And she was talking about how she was my age, 17 at the time, and how it changed to her being an elder and a grandmother and a mother. And we asked her about when she was young, and she said when we were young, we used to be able to hunt on the land, we used to be able to fish from the land, we used to be able to swim in the waters and have fun, like it was normal. Like how I'm guessing how we live here. I'm guessing that's how it was, but probably a little nicer because it's the middle of nowhere. So yeah, they used to be able to hunt and fish and live off the land, not live off the land, but live in good serenity with the land. And then she talked about how they started coming in. And then she started talking about how now she can't eat from the land, how there's cancer sores in the salmon and the fish, how there's cancer sores in the deer, so you can't eat it off the land, you can't grow anything. It's dead. It's dead. It looks like Mordor. It really is dead. It did something to my heart when I went there, when I saw it, that, wow, how can people do this for money? So then I started questioning myself. And then I kept on talking to this grandmother, and she talked about how she had a daughter and like how she got cancer. And then, you know, you could tell in her face, you know, it looked like a movie, you know, people, you know, and then when they started talking about it, she was getting really, really uncomfortable, but I said, you know, this is for people to see, you know, people really need to see this. And then so she started talking about that and I said, well, does she have any kids? And she's like, yeah, man, they have asthma, and it looks like they might be getting cancer. Like, I don't know if they're getting cancer when they're older, but you know, then I saw the old grandmother start tearing up when she started talking about her grandchildren, and she's like, man, I don't know what to do, but I need help, like, we need help. And she looked at me, and it's like she was begging, like, I don't know what to do, we don't have enough money to move off the res, like, we can't move off the res, we're taken care of here. A lot of people can't leave because that's where the money is, right? That's where they get the money, and then that's how they live. They lived off those lands since time immemorial, and it's destroyed. So she started crying when she said, we have to bathe our children in bottled water. So after she started talking about her grandchildren, bathing them in bottled water, she started crying. And when you see someone's tears, a grandmother's tears for their grandchildren, it does something to you. So right then and there is when I decided that I want to make a change. So I started to stand up against these companies because they're really doing it for materialistic objects, not for the social welfare of the people, not for the social uplift of the people or the economy. They're doing it for their benefits. So yeah, so remember that grandma. I always remember that grandma. I always remember where she came from and what she told me and how she cried for her daughter with cancer and her children with asthma. So that's really what's going down right there. It's really crazy. Doctors say that it's higher than 30%. A lot of people, it's one of the highest concentrations of people with cancer, and that's where they're taking it from. And that's what's going through the Puget Sound, and that's what's going through the Georgia Strait. Anyways.
I have a question, a quickie question that's just a factual question.
Yeah.
Can we see the slide before that last quote? Because I have a question for you. I've always wondered what tailings are, the reclaimed tailings.
It's the water where so they take the water, right, to spray off all the bad stuff to get the oil. The tailing ponds is where they put the water.
Mm-hmm. And it's all chemicals.
Yep, it's all chemicals and water.
And then
so,
you have your migratory birds landing in it. And
well, check this out. So when I was actually there, they shoot off guns every 5 minutes because if anything were to go in there, they would die.
It's done.
Yeah, like if we saw birds go in there, they die. Yeah. You know what I mean? People who who clean up oil spills, they end up dying 8 months later if it's really bad. And yeah, it's pretty sad actually. Some of our friends have died like that. Some of our friends. So yeah, when they go in the water, you know, they have guns that go off automatic guns that go off every 5 minutes, 30 seconds, and they're really, maybe cannons, I don't know, it's really loud, so when the birds go in there, they die. So yeah, thanks that you brought that up. And so this is the proposed pipeline. This is where they want to bring it from, Edmonton, so it comes from Fort McMurray, which is up there, through Edmonton, and this is the proposed expansion that they want to do. So it goes from Edmonton all the way down here. Kamloops is like, these are most of the major cities in British Columbia, and it really does go through under schools, it goes through hospitals. So a lot of high schools and a lot of people up here are standing up with us. You know, we have a lot of support with us. So it goes through hospitals, like I said, a lot of hospitals are with us. A lot of high schools, a lot of universities are coming in behind us to fight this. So then it comes down through here, and it's an expansion, right? So, and the blue is the one that's, so the black is the existing one, you know what I mean? And so they're saying they're going to do an expansion, which an expansion is a word that makes you think that it's like, oh, it's already there. But no, it's a whole new pipeline. They're just doing it right here on there so it doesn't look as bad. Otherwise, they'll do it more convenient. So yeah, when they say expansion, it's really another pipeline on top of a pipeline. So it's a huge, huge, huge pipeline on a little pipeline. All right, next one. So this is the same map, but the thing, like this map shows the Fraser River watershed. And like, so all of this stuff goes down through here, and the Fraser River is actually a really big river that goes through BC. It's quite famous. A lot of the universities around there, like Simon Fraser University is named off of it because some of the explorers, like it was really big, so it comes all the way up here. So like, but this is all the watershed and all the salmon that it would affect. And this ecosystem, even in Washington too, rely on the salmon because the bears will eat it and poop it out for the plants, and it's so nutritious and protein in it that it's just, you know, they call over here salmon central, you know, it's a mecca salmon. Our ecosystem relies on salmon. So when an oil spill will happen, there's an 87% chance, but we'll get into that later, it'll affect all of that. You know, kill all the salmon. You know, it's crazy. You know, kill all the animals. It'll devastate the whole country. I mean, it'll devastate the whole province and into Washington. It'll come in right into here too. And you can see down here in the little one, this is the route where the tankers come from. Mm-hmm. And it comes down to here to right now, the existing one, it goes only to Washington and California. So yeah, that's the thing, that it comes in through here, goes to Cherry Point, Bellingham around here. And then they want to expand it down to, I think, don't they want to put an LNG in Tacoma? Yeah. Yeah, now they want to do that. That's crazy. So yeah, as you can see, like this is the watershed. It affects all of this whole area. Next one. How likely is oil spill if a pipeline is built? What side is that?
I'm not sure what the number is, but.
Okay.
We'll see what goes after.
So, all right, what will happen if an oil spill, if a pipeline, how likely is an oil spill if the pipeline is built? Yeah, next one. So, these are all the spills that happened in the United States from 1990 to 2011. So like, that's a lot, just in 20 years. Just in 20 years, you can see all these things happening. And Houston is like the epicenter. And then you got some like all in Texas, and then Oklahoma City is like a lot of the big ones. And then no Dapple wants to come in here. So as you can see, there's that many, and it's new because a lot of people say, oh, well, there's a lot of oil spills because it's older. But look at that's only like 20 years, right? And then we're in 2017, so that's 20 years. That's not old, you know. Most of us are older than that. All of us, I think. So yeah, they're trying to say it's really old, and it's crazy because, you know, it's really not. And as you can see, the bigger they are, the bigger the oil spills are, and the smaller the oil spills are. And as you can see, there's a really big one in Washington and a couple down there. And almost every state has one, I think, except, no, I'm pretty sure everyone has one. All right, bring up this. So did you know that there is an 87% chance of a spill in the Burrard Inlet over 50 years if the proposed Kinder Morgan pipeline is built? So if an oil spill were to happen right in the inlet, not even in the Puget Sound, it would affect Seattle within 24 hours, killing all the orca whales and birds. And yeah, it's ridiculous. So hold up just 1 second, please. So oh yeah, so every single one has a spill from 19, yeah. And all of these pipelines, like from the other one, can last up to 100 years. So some of them are really, really, really old. And yeah, it's crazy. The reasons for spill, 1 out of 10 is this one's really funny. So 1 out of the 10 spills that happen on here is from an idiot. Just like not knowing what he's doing. So just like messing up and oil just coming out of it. That's crazy. So 1 out of 10 is just human error, human fault. Like that's ridiculous. And the other ones are just like things that mess up, wind or whatnot. And there's a lot of earthquakes happening too. So it's like, and it's happening from fracking down in Colorado. It's crazy. So yeah, sad. All right, you can go to the next one. What is Kinder Morgan's past record of spills? So actually go back to the other one. So yeah, there's an 80% chance of that happening. So the thing with this happening is that when an oil spill does happen, we're promised with bottled water. Vancouver's promised with bottled water, but Seattle's not. And like Seattle's just as big. Like we'll have an oil spill too, just as bad as Vancouver, because it's the Puget Sound. The oil comes in through here. It's not that far, 144 miles. And it'll affect the Seattle people. It'll affect all 3.5 million people live in the area, not including the space between like Bellingham, Mount Vernon. It'll affect all these people, and it's crazy because that's a lot of people affected. Yeah, go ahead, next one.
So did you just say Vancouver's promising bottled water? Is that what you're saying?
So Christy Clark, all right. So Christy Clark, the premier, and Kinder Morgan made an agreement that if when an oil spill happens, that they promise all the Vancouver people bottled water. We'll get more into that. There's the next slide for that. What is Kinder Morgan's past record spills? So this picture right here is actually one of the oil spills that happened in Burnaby, which is the suburb right next to Vancouver. And so like it really devastated everybody, and a lot of people in that area are really trying to fight it now. So what's really cool about the Vancouver area is that in Burnaby, all the mayors, city councilmen, fire department are against it. So like yeah, this is right on Burnaby Mountain where they want to do it. And it's ridiculous. This happened in 2017. Kinder Morgan did not provide. So really, how it happened is that Kinder Morgan did not provide the city with where the pipelines were underwater. So construction workers did that. Yeah, that's crazy. So like when working on the road, and so when they're working on the road, that resulted in an oil spill all over the community, 2 blocks away from the tanker terminal. So that's only 2 blocks away from the tanker terminal. It's just really close. And right across from the tanker terminal is Tsleil-Waututh Nation, which is our reservation. It's not even that far. You could canoe over there and not be tired, or you could kayak over there and you will not be tired. I could see it every time we go down there. You could literally see it, and it's really, really scary to like the young people out there because, well, our history as Native people is that when the tide went out, the dinner was set. But as of recently, there is no, we couldn't go out to the clams. We can't eat the clam digs out in the Vancouver Inlet because of that. We can't eat the crabs or any of the fish. But I'm happy to say a year ago was our first clam dig due to our rehabilitation programs. It was our first time. Our salmon count went down to 10,000 up to 10 million because of rehabilitation programs. So it's just like all these bad things are happening, but there are answers, there are results, there are things to fight back. So through our rehabilitation programs, we have been working against it. We've been working for the people so that we could eat off our inlet and maybe one day swim in our inlet without getting out of it itchy. And that's a beautiful thing. I love that. And so yeah, that's practically who we are as people, is that we live off the water. We're a people of the inlet. And we will fight and do whatever it takes for that. We'll even put money to our rehabilitation programs. Some of our people are starving. Some of the nations down here and British Columbia are really poor. Their people are starving. Their people are struggling. But yet they signed an agreement saying no because they know the value of the land and they know the value of our future generations. We know that value of our land. There's no money, no materialistic object that we will agree with to sell our land or whatnot, to let a pipeline come through our land. And that's what's the beautiful, is that these people are really poor. Our nations are really poor, but we're putting all of our money into fighting this. We're doing that. We're doing it together with the city of Vancouver, with Burnaby, with all the nations in British Columbia. We're saying no. There is no way for them to come through to the Pacific coast without going through an indigenous tribe. So all of us are fighting together.
Isn't Burnaby over 80% of the citizens say no to the pipeline?
Oh yeah, it's
like
rising.
It's 88% or something, but
yeah, and it's rising. It's rising every day. Everybody's supporting.
And the government still says yes.
Yeah.
And the people say no.
Yeah. So the beautiful thing about that is, like I said, we were in a meeting with city councilmen, with mayors, with the MLAs, with fire departments, with police chiefs, and we're all terrified because we know the effects of this happening. And it'll affect Seattle too. Within 24 hours, all of the effects would come down here. And the thing is, that's ridiculous. So those are our indigenous values that are going to make us win, because they have to have consultation with First Nations. But the thing is that we do not consultate with we consultate with the government. We do not consultate with corporations, and that's the thing that they got us messed up, because they are a corporation. We don't have to talk to them. They want to talk to us and make agreements, but who are you? You're a corporation. You're not the government. That's what they think they are. Anyways, go to the next slide. So these are the top 10 oil spills. Yeah, you can just look at that. Well, these are the top 10 oil spills. So from the Trans Mountain oil spill, this is the one that's happening right now, from 1961 to 2003. And actually, there was. Which one was I at? Well, actually, there's one up here that I was at that it's not shown right here, because the one from Fort McMurray to Edmonton, it just say it starts at Edmonton. I was actually there for one of the big oil spills. It was really crazy. A lot of people got hurt, and a lot of people, it really got like turned, I guess, or it really got heated, and it was really crazy. Yeah, so these are all the things. Like, these are just the barrels of what's happening. So it comes in through these major things, all through these major. This is the one that we're talking about in Burnaby. 2,201 barrels happened right in Burnaby. That's crazy. And it even comes down to here to Cherry Point and then down to Washington. So yeah, it's not just a Canadian problem, it's everybody's problem. So what impact would an oil spill have on our water? Go ahead, next one. Did you know in case of an oil spill, Kinder Morgan has to provide you with bottled water? And the you part is for the Vancouver citizens. But no, they did not make no agreement with Seattle. Seattle has 3.5 million people. Vancouver has 2.5 million people. Affect that much people. And I'm not talking about the people who live in between the cities. And that's a lot of people. There's no bottled water for the people of Seattle, for the people of Bellingham, Mount Vernon. Like, what's going to happen here? How are we going to be able to drink water? How are we going to be able to bathe? All the waters will be sold out. They're not providing Seattle with water. It's only Vancouver. But yet the oil spill would affect here within 24 hours. Or if a tanker spill were to happen, if a tanker spill were to happen, it would affect Seattle first. Because, you know what I mean? One would happen down here in the Puget Sound. So it's crazy. Next, yeah. So how much tanker traffic increase if the pipeline was built? So how much does anybody know? Have an estimate? 40%. So 40%? You think 40%?
I feel like it's more than that, though.
Let's just hear some numbers. Someone say some numbers.
3,000.
3,000?
7 times.
7 times? All right, let's go to the next one. So the proposed Kinder Morgan project could increase the numbers of tankers moving through the Burrard Inlet for a year from 30 to over 400. So like, that's ridiculous. So right now there's 30. And all 30 of them come to Washington or California. But with the expansion, they want to bring it to China, and they want to export it to the world. And like, that's going to go from, well, actually it's from 20 to 60 a year to over 400. So like, that's just what Kinder Morgan says, though, because obviously this is over 400. So what can that really mean to a company that really wants to make money and make profit? That could probably be like maybe 600, 700, maybe 401. Who knows? Yeah, go to the next slide. How do the proposed pipeline impact orcas? So this is what the route is if it were to come from Vancouver. It would go from North Vancouver, come down Georgia Strait down to the Puget Sound, and come through here. So the facts is that Seattle is about right down here. If an oil spill were to happen or whatnot, because look at all this. This is a 90-degree angle that they just make it look like that they have to go through. So yeah, so oil spill could happen anywhere in this area, you know what I mean? So it could come through here, go over here, and it goes to the to where China or whatnot. And some of them even come down through Washington, right here, Bellingham, Cherry Point, all these places. And the effects, like I said, it would affect Seattle. Like, it would affect Seattle so quick. That's what people don't understand, is that it's an everybody problem that it comes through the United States. It comes through here, just like right here. You know what I mean? So like, if oil spill would happen right here, it'd get to Seattle quicker. It'd get to this area quicker than it would get to Vancouver, because it's closer. And And Vancouver is protected through this inlet right here. And so yeah, the effects of it would be really huge on Seattle. It would be devastating. Lots of fish would die. Practically everything it touches dies. It's not that funny, but you know, to me. And then all the orcas, even from the noise traffic, it would kill the orcas. So like from all the noise traffic and all the noise pollution that comes from the ships, it would kill all the orcas. And the orcas, you know, would die because of the noise pollution, or they would go somewhere else. But mostly that would die because the noise pollution really hurts the ears to the water, it echoes, and it hurts the orcas. And that's really like what we're trying to fight for in Vancouver, because we want our orcas to come back. And there's actually a lot of sightings that are coming back to Vancouver because of our rehabilitation programs. There's actually been sightings now that they're coming back because of us fighting for the environment, which is really, really awesome. Next slide. How would an oil spill affect birds and other wildlife? Oh, no, go ahead. The next one. Okay, so this is how, like, did you go back? Oh, okay, never mind, I thought it was just birds. All right, go to the next one, sorry. So how would it affect, so these are the salmon routes. These are all the salmon routes that come through here. And this is where Tsleil-Waututh is, where my reservation is. And this is where the proposed pipeline expansion is going to end right here. So it's literally like right across. And this is the whole downtown area. You could walk this within maybe like 20, 30 minutes. So literally it's like a 30-minute walk, 20-minute walk, we go straight. So yeah, this is all the effects that would happen. Like this is all where the salmon come in and out. This is where all, you know what I mean, the salmon routes, and it's a key species. You know, the salmon is a key species in this area. You know, everything revolves around the salmon. The people, the fishermen, all rely on the salmon. So it's just like, it's going to affect the economy. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the economy down in Washington come from seafood or whatnot, come from fishing, from fishing. So it would affect the economy, and it would really affect travel. You know, people traveling here. So it would really affect that, because a lot of people coming from around the world to see Seattle and how beautiful it is, and come to Vancouver to see how beautiful it is, and go to the water and have the ocean experience. But it would affect that from people from coming. It would affect the economy that way. It would affect the economy of fishermen, how we really get a lot of our money. So it's going to affect a lot of people. Go to the next one. So what is crazy is that just in this area, if an oil spill were to happen, just in this area, 500,000 birds would die and never come back to this area. They would never, ever come back. They would all die. And so that's not even, this is just the Vancouver area. You could drive, well, I live here, so you could drive probably from here to here in like 15 minutes. 2 hours with traffic. No.
That's true.
So, no, seriously, it's true. So I live right here, and it takes about maybe like 15 minutes to get to down here, and then 15 minutes to get over here. So like, this is just like, 30 minutes. That's probably like a couple miles just right in here. 500,000 birds will die and never come back. And all the salmon would die. Everything would honestly die. And even if a bug were to get in there, like salmon and things would keep on dying, because a bug would get in there, get all the stuff in there, and then a fish or a bear or anything will eat it, right? So even a salmon or anything came up in here and didn't get affected too bad, it'll still have it within them. And it'll travel all the way back over here, and a bear will eat it, and it'll get the cancer, it'll get sick and die. Or any of the other bugs that come around, they travel, any birds that eat them will technically die or whatnot, or really get sick. So yeah, it even affects like the whole ecosystem. It's crazy. Next slide. How much will tar sands, oil add to global warming? To constrain climate change, such conventional oil use needs to be stopped, according to scientists. Because like tar sands oil is the worst oil. It is 100% the worst oil, the worst way to extract it. Like I said, it takes 2 barrels of water, 2 tons of earth to get one barrel of water. All right, next. So oil sands bitumen is called dirty because its production emits 3.2 to 4.5 times more greenhouse gases than conventional crude oil. Even taking its full life cycle into account, including extracting, upgrading, refining, transporting, and combusting oil sands bitumen creates 22% more climate damage than conventional oils. So conventional oils is the one that you see on TV where they put a big pipe down there and then it like comes splashing out. That's conventional oil. So this is 22% more dirty than that. So that's why it's called the dirty oil. That's why it's called gross, because remember the first slideshow where it showed you the dirt? That's where they get it from. Anyways, climate leaders don't build pipelines. So this is one thing that Trudeau said. He's like, I guess he's like the equivalent to the president. He's the Prime Minister of Canada. So I was actually in Ottawa when this. I stood actually where he stood that same day. A couple hours before, I was right here. So I stood right there on that same day, and it was ridiculous. Like, you could see him in his eyes. Like, sometimes I want to say it's no soul, or say he's one of the best actors. So one thing that Trudeau says is that, we need this pipeline so that we could move forward, so we could get money for renewable energy.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, he's a politician. He's a politician. So, yes, that's crazy that he said that, that he said that. And the crazy part is that as of 2014 in the United States, there's more renewable energy jobs than oil extraction jobs. And that's so good. Like, that's awesome. Round of applause. Canada's still in the past, though. So that's one thing that he says, like climate leaders, that he's a climate leader, that he's this, that he's that. But here, let me tell you one thing. If I were to tell you my favorite pizza was pepperoni, well, actually cheese is my favorite. It's my favorite. So I really like cheese. Depends what kind of cheese is on there. 4 cheese, because I just love cheese. I just lied to you. My favorite pizza is. I just lied to you. My favorite pizza is margarita. I just lied to you again. So that's how easy it is standing up in front of a crowd in line. No, really, no, seriously. Like, that's how easy it is for me to stand up here on the pedestal as a person that's talking to many people online. So just have that in mind. That's how I look at Trudeau. I don't know. One day I'll know his favorite pizza. So yeah, climate leaders, that's what he said. Next slide. So this is the price of energy that comes from solar panels. So as you can see, it's from 1977. It used to be $76, and now it's really coming down to 30 cents. And the thing is, like, everybody wants to fight this, but we really got to say, but what are we going to replace oil with? We see all these people fighting against it, but we have to fight against the oil companies, but fight with and stand up with these renewable energy companies. That we really have to do it, because that's the way of the future, because we need energy, right? I mean, even as humans, we need to eat, right? Our cars need to eat. We need to get places, right? But the thing is that moving forward is that we have to really put our investments in energy into renewable energy, Put our energy into that energy. It makes good energy. good energy. So yeah, it's really, really getting cheaper and cheaper. And one day I want to put these up in my house. Well, I do have one at my house, but it's for presentations. I couldn't bring it all the way down here though. But yeah, it's really, really interesting. Like, as you can see, as in 2015, it's 30 cents compared to $76 in 1977. So every year it's honestly getting cheaper and cheaper to develop. It's getting cheaper to do. So it's like, I really, really promote that you guys really get into this, give energy into this, because when you give energy into those oil companies, everybody's gonna see it, and then they might get false information saying, oh, it's good for the economy, good for that, good for this, because they'll hear that oil is bad, and they'll look into it, like the energy, they say any, what did NWA say? Any press is good press? So yeah, it's because you're giving them their name. But here I feel like we got to put some energy into renewable energy, right? Because that's the way of the future. That's the way how we're all going to live together in harmony and not be worried about our future. Because the reality is right now is that the younger you are, the more terrified you should be of your future. The older you are, the less terrified that you should be. So whatever you hear today or whatever you learn today, I really promote that you tell your young ones or tell your people about what happened today. Yeah, next one. Oh, go back. Okay, so what was supposed to be here is it was an investment of $1 million and where it goes to jobs. So where it goes to jobs, like for example, if you invested $1 million into fossil fuel company jobs, or $1 million into let me just look it up for you guys real quick. I got time. All right, so the thing is that it says the truth about job creation. If you were to invest $1 million into coal, you would make 5 permanent jobs. If you were to invest $1 million into oil companies or whatnot, you would make 7 jobs. But get this, if you were to invest into solar panel jobs, invest $1 million into solar panel market, you would make 14 jobs. And if you were to invest into the wind turbine jobs, you would get 18 jobs. So it's crazy. So like, it's literally like, for coal jobs compared to renewable energies, you make 3 times more jobs for people. So even for when they say it's for the economy, it's really not for the economy. If they really want to excel in the economy, they would produce more renewable energy. They would put more money into renewable energies. Because right now in the world, $775 billion to $1 trillion of world subsidies are into fossil fuel companies. And that's crazy. Imagine $1 trillion a year to social uplift for the people, you know? Even down here, like, even in our own communities in Seattle, we have kids starving down the road. And like I said, every 4 seconds, one person dies from starvation, dehydration. That's crazy. There's kids dying here, you know what I mean? Like, I was in a school shooting. That's how the Marysville Pilchuck school shooting, and that devastated my life and our community. And I really got to thinking, and I questioned who I am. And then I questioned myself about that lady who I met in Alberta, you know, the one who has her kids. And I questioned myself and my humanity, if I'm going to let this happen. I questioned myself and I said, well, this lady's going through the same thing that I went through in this school shooting. But I could do something about it right now because they're still doing it. And I said, I'm going to do something. I questioned my humanity. I questioned who I'm going to stand up for. I questioned, you know what I mean, my little brother right out here. And I said, I'm going to make sure his future is good. And I questioned that. So that's what I did as a person, and that's what we're doing, you know. That's what our nation, Tsleil-Waututh, is doing. That's what Pulled Together is doing. We're making a future that we could all live together, safe and in harmony. We could love each other, you know. Because they say it's for the economy. It's really not. It's not for the economy. It's for the 1%. We're the suckers getting messed up from the 1%. This is for them. This is for them. When this pipeline goes through, there will be only 12 permanent jobs. Because when the pipeline's built, where do all those jobs go? Where do all these people go? No, it's for these people to make money. Because when you make money, you're going to do whatever it takes to make more money. These people are power, you know. I saw Cedar Morgan. He has no spirit in his eyes. He has no soul, it looks like. He has no soul. He cares about himself and only himself. No, I'm playing. All right, next slide. So, how can you join us? How can you help? Join us May 14th for the Pacific Islanders water ceremony. So what's going down it's in Kate's Park. I don't know if you want to write this down, but this is the May 14th. What's happening? So these Pacific Islanders from Fiji, their island went underwater because of global warming, so they don't really have anywhere to live. But one thing that they're doing is they're going to come up to Vancouver, the Vancouver Inlet, and support us, you know. They're going to come support us and slow a demonstration on the waters. They're bringing their war canoes. We're bringing our canoes. Mosquito Fleet from Seattle's coming up. A lot of people from here are coming up, Bellingham, Lummi. And we're all going to come on the water and support and celebrate life, celebrating standing up together, you know. Celebrating that, yeah, you know, that these companies are doing all this devastation. You know what I mean? But one thing that they are doing for sure is that I look around here and I see that they're bringing people together, you know. When I went to Standing Rock, I don't know, who went to Standing Rock here? Anyone? So I don't know if you guys noticed, but you saw Muslims eating with Christians, Christians eating with natives, and Buddhists eating with, you know, atheists. Because they all came together through what I like to say is love and compassion. Because when you have that love and compassion, you know what I mean? Like you're going to fight for it. And this love and compassion is getting challenged by Kinder Morgan. It's getting challenged by these oil companies. It's getting challenged by their greed. But one thing that they're scared of is our love and compassion. That's one thing that I really think that they're scared of. And so anyways, like I said, they're the Pacific Islanders coming down here to the Vancouver Inlet and going right up to the water and stopping oil tanker traffic for the day. And you know, I'd like to join all of you guys to come see, you know, the celebration of life, or when our celebration of standing up, you know, celebration of solidarity. Everybody is welcomed. It's at Kate's Park. You guys, if you guys want to write this down, it's at Kate's Park. North Vancouver at noon. Did I say noon?
1.
From 1 to 4.
It's actually Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Mother's Day?
Mother's Day.
Yeah, Mother Earth, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Bring your mom.
This mom is gonna be there.
And if you were to look it up on Google.
Yeah, where do you find it?
Site?
Yeah, you would find it. Just look up.
Oh.
No, go ahead, Cindy.
It's just Kate's Park, North Vancouver, BC.
And then there'll be one right here. So here, I'll show you. Go to the next slide. And so one thing that I think that really, really works and that we really got to practice on is staying connected. So like definitely like I work with anybody and whoever, you know what I mean? It's not like, I really believe in one person at a time. And I really believe in that family and love and compassion will win this fight, because we already beat a pipeline. Like Tsleil-Waututh already beat a pipeline a couple years ago. And we're going to beat this one too. This one's bigger though. This one's bigger. We're going to beat it, you know? We really are. Because we're young, we're high-sprung, we're going to fight, you know? Me and my cousins up there, we're going to fight. So really stay connected, you know? Whatever you hear today, you know, spread that. Be that raindrop effect, that raindrop in the water, that ripple effect. That ripple effect goes far, and it touches all the water, you know? And that's kind of where we get some of our teachings from. It's from Mother Earth, you know? It's from the world. And when you see that raindrop and you see that ripple, be that. You know, so whatever you hear today, I really, really want you to go to the people that you love and tell them the facts that you learned today, because this is not a Canadian problem, a Seattle problem, a Vancouver problem, you know, Capitol Hill problem, no. This is an everybody problem. You know, it affects everybody in every state. It will affect everybody. And, you know, the things that I ask myself is, who do I love? What do I love? You know, Kaya, stand up. No, I'm just kidding. So who do I love? What do I love? Mom, Kaya? No. So I love my family. I love my brothers. I love my sisters. I love my land. I love my city. I love being from the Pacific Northwest. I love how beautiful it is here, you know? And I ask myself, who do I love? What do I love? How is Kinder Morgan going to affect that? Well, it's going to kill everything, you know what I mean? It's going to kill everything. It's going to cause cancer. It's going to kill the forest. It's going to kill literally everything that it touches. Oil's going to kill. It's going to devastate. It's going to decompose it. And that's what it's going to do. And what am I going to do about it is the three questions I ask people. So it's like, what do you love? How is Kinder Morgan going to affect it? And what are you going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? You know, together. How are we going to stand up together? Standard Rock set precedents of unity and love. And I think that we could take that to everybody, you know, a little bit. We could have that. We could find that within ourselves and be that ripple effect. You know, spread that love and compassion. And so, like I said, I'll follow Tsleil-Waututh Nation Sacred Trust on via Facebook to get updates on the Kinder Morgan stand-up fight. And then to get more information or give donations at twn.sacredtrust.ca and visit pulltogether.ca for donations. So really, Sacred Trust is really the Tsleil-Waututh Nation's team of people standing up against Kinder Morgan. So like I said, Pull Together is raising money for our lawyers to stand up against Kinder Morgan. And we need $500,000, and right now we have about $250,000. So we're almost there. You know, we really, really, really need this money to stand up against them, because like I said, they have no consultation. These companies made no consultations to the indigenous people of British Columbia. They just said, they talked to the government, said we're going to do this, and made agreements. And you know, it's crazy because these oil companies publicly said that they're paying all the news companies to go in favor for Kinder Morgan, and they're paying these politicians openly. They said that to give them money to go in favor of Kinder Morgan. It's crazy. I don't know. It's sad. So it's literally publicly said that in British Columbia, and these politicians are getting paid, and they've been publicly paid to go in favor of this pipeline. So you know, just one thing I really need to say is that a big dysfunction in society, someone once said, is that people feel as if that they're not part of the government. One of my friends, Anna, said that we're supposed to be a part of the government. We are the government, but yet we are afraid of the government. We don't like the government. We're mad about the government. But no, we are the government. We could come together. We could stay connected, you know. So I really, encourage you to talk to me. Or, you know, I'll talk to anybody and work with anybody. If you have any more questions, you know, hit me up on Facebook, on Snapchat, or email me, and I'm more than willing to help. Me and Tsleil-Waututh Nation to bring the fight anywhere, and yeah. So I'd like to say thank you, and
Questions?
sure. And so you guys can take
Is
pictures.
there questions?
Oh yeah, you want to do the Q&A?
Yeah.
Questions? Is there any questions?
I'm in fundraising, so I'm just asking questions about, I see some things happening. What is the fundraising effort other than kind of speech, presentations like this? Is there local, I work with the Suquamish tribe to help fundraise to buy some land up in Port Gamble right now.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if there's any local fundraising efforts, events that are happening. I'm sure there are.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that right after the Q&A. Yeah, those are. Yeah.
So where are we in like the permitting process, or if we even do permitting anymore?
For
Where
this
are we in
expansion?
the building process?
So right now they approved it in I believe December 12th. Yeah, I believe December 12th they approved it, and right now they're just getting ready to build it. So I'm pretty sure nothing has been torn down yet, but they're in the process of it right now this summertime that they're going to get into it.
So it's been approved,
Yeah.
and you guys are trying to take legal action. So this is like serious, like last,
we are
last
taking.
call. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, last stand.
Thank you.
The National Energy Board in Canada had a hearing, and the Tulalip tribes, the Lummi Nation, and the Suquamish Nation all went to testify to oppose Kinder Morgan, expansion of Kinder Morgan. So there were others that were there, Tsleil-Waututh Nation and many other nations, and local, I believe Burnaby and others who opposed the expansion. So the government just decided that it was in their own best interest, but not the people's interest, because I testified as the vice chairwoman of Tulalip at the time, and their mind was pretty much made up. That was my feelings as I was there. And out of all the complete oppositions to this, the government decides to move forward with the expansion. So it's devastating.
Yeah.
For like the spill that had happened in Burnaby, like when some of these things happened, were they able to get additional people involved in this fight as it was moving along? I'm just curious as how we can organize on climate or development kind of catastrophe as like using it as a organizing tool. Just interested if they've done that in this project.
Like
Like, did
organizing
they-
after? Or-
Yeah, like after that spill happened, was there like outreach from like the pull together? I know pull together like new
Pull
words,
Together.
but was there organizing at the time to
Yeah.
try to get like and just tips for that sort of outreach work?
Yeah, I think the question is, was there organizing response to the oil spill, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, there was. Yeah, there's a lot of campaigning, a lot of people out there. And if you want to know more, add us on sacredtrust.ca, twnSacredtrust.ca. I have all the information. And yeah, we're taking a lot of moves. Like I said, we have like literally there's so many events that are happening in Vancouver. Just a couple days ago, a high school put on a march. They put on a march every year since that spill in Burnaby. They put on a march from one of the main subway stations, the main subway station, all the way up to like one of the main parks in the neighborhoods area. So they shut down the streets and everything. And you also have people doing seminars, or like people raising money. Like for example, these brewery companies pulled together some keggers. So we had an event called Keggers No Tankers. But then you also have these press conferences of, like for example, this is how much support we have in the city. There's a meeting with me, some major activists, professors from UBC and SFU, a city councilman, like mayors and MLAs, which is like people who run counties, I guess, and the MLAs. And then there's a media team there, and all these people are all in it together. Like the thing where it said 87% chance of oil spill came from professors from UBC and SFU. So we have a lot of support, all of us. Like really, people are really getting involved, because if everybody knew this, like knew the effects of oil, I don't think it would. I don't think there'd ever be any oil after this. Everything would be just blow up with solar energy or whatnot, wind turbine. So yes, there's a lot of support. There's a lot of things that are happening, and people are getting involved. And we can get into how you guys can get involved. Is there any more questions?
Maybe one more question.
Yeah, one more question.
4 minutes.
Okay.
Has there been any reach out to the workers that are working on this pipeline?
Yeah. Well, there actually is. So like, one of the people who work on this pipeline is actually, we're going to go interview him next week, because he saw like the effects of it. And actually, there's an artist that we interviewed the other week who was one of the people, like one of the people who overlook it. And he's an artist now, and he wants to work with us. So a lot of these people who are seeing the effects, who work for it, are seeing the effects and are actually coming to our aid and want to work with us. So yeah, like once people hear the information, you know what I mean. Once the world knows, like, there's no way to keep people down. When everybody knows one thing, you know, there's no way to keep the people down. The people are the government. So yeah, there's like when these workers hear about it, they want to come and work with us, with sacred trust, with the people who are standing up against these oil companies. So we could talk about, right now we're going to talk about how we could get everybody involved and what you can do, you know. And one thing I think that anybody could do is talk. No matter who you are, you know what I mean, talk, or you know what I mean, or post on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, we have all of these technology that are screaming out for human encounterment, like for human encounters, for humans to come together and be social, you know what I mean? Like social media is screaming that out to the world to stay connected, and that's one thing that we can all do, stay connected and just talk, you know, just talk to your people about what you've seen today. And right now we're going to talk about how you can get involved with Pull Together campaign.
Woo, thanks, Cedar. In our last few minutes here, we're just going to talk about what's going on in Seattle. My name is Victoria Leisman. I'm an organizer of Sierra Club.
And I'm Morgan Michael, an organizer with 350 Seattle. And I'm going to pass around a clipboard and ask everyone to sign up if you'd like to get involved.
Yeah, so as Cedar mentioned, obviously we're really impacted here in Seattle. There's a $500,000 goal to cover First Nations legal fees fighting against this pipeline. And here in Seattle, Sierra Club and 350 have teamed up to raise $50K. We had an event last Thursday, which Cedar was an amazing speaker at, in Ballard, where we had 250 people and raised almost $10,000. And we are ready to crank it up, right? So this is our fundraising page. It's fundraise.raventrust.com/pulltogetherseattle. And we are doing a ton of stuff to outreach and really spread the word.
Yeah, and this is really something that hugely affects our area, but because we're not Canadian citizens, we don't get a legal say over, but we can really sort of vote with our dollars here and really support the work that First Nations are doing up in Canada. So we have like a big potential here to fundraise, and there's been a lot of like community, like on whatever level of community involvement, like whether it's, you know, reaching out to a local business, being like, do you want to have a day where folks donate to this, or hosting a house party, inviting your friends to like a potluck and telling them about this project, being like donate, having a bake sale, lemonade stand, whatever. There's like so many opportunities to plug in, and whatever we can contribute like really strengthens this fight. And it's a really great opportunity for education, because I think a lot of folks south of the border don't really understand this project and its effect on our region and global climate. So yeah, so we're passing around a clipboard, and then we have also some clipboards here for business outreach and hosting a community fundraiser. So if you're interested specifically in one of those, you can sign up here. You can also come and talk to Victoria and I. We can give you any of you our info. We're happy to chat about ongoing projects. I think I passed out a flyer for there's a party for Pull Together happening on May 16th, 7 to 9 p.m. up at Hellbent Brewery in Lake City. And they're going to donate 10% of their proceeds for the day to Pull Together. So we want to get people out to that event.
Yeah, and the last thing I would just say is, you know, to build upon what was discussed in this workshop, like this is a community building moment, right? Like this is impacting all of us. This is a chance for people to come together, talk about an issue that's really scary and impacting us, but also to connect and have that human connection and to work towards something together. So I really encourage you all to get involved. This is, again, share this site on Facebook, on wherever. The more people we can get, there's ways to get involved also on this page too. So it's a good hub. And otherwise, unless these two have anything else to add, I think.
Yeah. Is there a fundraising deadline?
Deadline.
Until we win.
Yeah.
No, seriously, and until we win.
Yeah.
Because like these courts, it's unceded territory, so they could fight for a long time, making new laws, and we'll counter it with our lawyers. And there's so many different ways to do this. Like you could, you know, if you have businesses or book clubs, you can do it with anything. You know, like there's Pull Together campaigns that are where restaurants have put in like you put their sales for the day. Like usually it's vegetarian restaurants. So. But yeah, and then like I said, there's the keggers ones, and there's like music events, and then just people put on all these different events that are good for everybody. You know, there's been art exhibits and silent auctions. You know, so if you're really into art, it's just really a lifestyle to get everybody into. You know, everybody should should have to, you know what I mean, feel like they should, I feel everybody should want to grow up for the world, should stand up for the world, I guess what I'm saying. My bad.
That too.
Yeah, because I look different, right? Like, I don't look like an activist. And then sometimes, like, when I started this, I said, I don't really want to do this. I don't feel like I belong here. I'm just some kid from the res, you know? And so that's sometimes how I feel. It's just like, when I come up here, but no, being able to stand up for your future should be for everybody. You know, everybody should want to do this. It doesn't matter your skin color. It doesn't matter what you look like. You know what I mean? Just depends what kind of music. We can really do get annoyed with certain music, but no, but it really doesn't matter. We should all be able to stand up for what we believe in and stand up together, you know? So besides that, are we good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. I'd like to thank everybody.